When the power grid goes down this winter, your house becomes a freezer. Let's be blunt. That space heater is a useless plastic box without electricity. Your furnace? A silent metal corpse, while others are shivering under blankets, praying for the lights to come back on. They're ignoring a lethal truth. In a deep freeze, hypothermia doesn't wait. It can take you out faster than starvation or dehydration. Within 48 hours, the place you call home could be the very thing that kills you. The shocking reality is that almost no one has a real plan for this. But freezing to death is a choice. For generations, people survived brutal winters without a single outlet. In this video, we're cutting through the noise. I'm giving you 12 non-electric heating methods that are proven to work when everything else fails. We'll cover everything from simple body heat, multipliers to advanced flameless thermal units, and the right way to use propane indoors without killing yourself. I'll show you the pros, the fatal cons, and the exact safety protocols for each. Your survival is not a game, and one mistake is all it takes. This is the information that keeps you and your family alive. Pay attention. Point 1. Master your internal furnace. Let's get one thing straight. The most reliable heat source you have is your own body. Before you even think about external gadgets or fuel, you need to understand that you are a biological furnace. Your metabolism is constantly burning calories, generating a steady stream of heat simply to keep you alive. The problem isn't a lack of heat, it's catastrophic heat loss. You're hemorrhaging warmth into the cold air, and your everyday clothing choices are the primary culprits. That comfortable cotton sweatshirt you live in a survival scenario, it's a death sentence. Preppers have a grim nickname for it: killer cotton. The reason is simple and brutal. Cotton acts like a sponge, absorbing every drop of sweat and moisture. Instead of wicking it away, it holds that cold dampness directly against your skin. Wet skin loses heat up to 25 times faster than dry skin. In a sub-zero environment without a functioning furnace, this isn't just uncomfortable, it's a fast track to hypothermia. The solution isn't about spending a fortune on high-tech gear. It's about adopting the layering strategy that professional alpinists and Arctic explorers use to survive. This is a system, and every layer has a critical non-negotiable job. Your first layer, the base layer, sits against your skin. Its only purpose is to move moisture away from your body. This must be made of merino wool, or a high-performance synthetic fabric. Absolutely no cotton. Think of this layer as your body's gutter system, channeling away the sweat that will otherwise kill you. Next is your mid-layer, which is your insulation. This is where materials like fleece, down, or heavy wool come in. This layer's job is to trap pockets of warm air that your body has generated. The key here is that it should be slightly loose. If your insulating layer is too tight, you compress those air pockets, destroying their insulating properties and rendering the layer useless. Finally, you need an outer shell. This is your armor against the elements. It must be windproof and waterproof. Without it, a biting wind will slice through your other layers and steal all your accumulated warmth in seconds. It doesn't matter how thick your mid-layer is if the wind can get to it. This three-part system, wick, insulate, protect, is the foundation of survival warmth. Don't forget your extremities. A huge portion of your body heat escapes through your head, hands, and feet. A wool hat, insulated gloves, and thick, dry socks are not accessories. They are vital components of your heating system. You should be prepared to sleep in a hat. It might feel ridiculous, but in a blackout, it's a non-negotiable tactic for staying alive. That is a fatal miscalculation. These Mylar space blankets are one of the most potent and pound-for-pound effective survival tools you can stockpile. Their appearance is deceiving. Developed by NASA in the 1960s for the Apollo program, this technology was designed to shield spacecraft and astronauts from the vacuum of space and extreme temperature fluctuation. The material is a miracle of physics, capable of reflecting up to 90% of a person's radiated body heat back toward them. Let that sink in. It doesn't create heat. It stops you from losing it. When your body is the only furnace you have, preventing that heat from escaping is the entire game. In a grid-down winter scenario where every single degree of warmth is precious, this is a massive advantage. But owning one and knowing how to use it are two different things. Most people get it wrong. The shiny side must always face your body. That's the reflective surface that does the work. More importantly, do not wrap yourself in it like a tight cocoon. You need to create a small air gap between your body and the blanket. This trapped layer of air acts as an additional pocket of insulation, supercharging the blanket's effectiveness. The Mylar itself is also completely windproof and waterproof, making it a functional emergency bivouac sack or poncho if you are exposed to the elements. However, there are two significant downsides you must manage. First, the material is notoriously fragile and can tear easily on sharp objects or with rough handling. Second, and more critically, Mylar does not breathe. It's a solid barrier. This means any sweat you produce will be trapped inside, creating the same dangerous dampness you're trying to avoid with proper clothing. To counteract this, you must vent the blanket periodically to allow moisture to escape. Despite these drawbacks, their low cost, often less than a couple of dollars each, and minimal weight make them indispensable. Stock them everywhere in your vehicles, your get-home bags, your emergency supplies at home, even in your desk at work. In the dead of a winter blackout, a simple Mylar sheet can be the one thing standing between you and lethal cold. Long before electricity was even a concept, our ancestors survived brutal winters using a technology that is as effective today as it was thousands of years ago: heated rocks. This isn't some romantic pioneer fantasy, it's a practical application of thermodynamics. Dense rocks are exceptional at absorbing and retaining heat, functioning as slow-release, flameless, and fumeless thermal batteries. The concept is brilliantly simple: heat a rock using an external source, bring it indoors, and let it radiate steady, gentle warmth for hours. This method provides a safe, silent heat that can make a small, enclosed space livable or keep a sleeping area from dropping to dangerous temperatures. It's a completely off-grid solution that requires nothing but labor and knowledge. However, the knowledge part is critical because a mistake here can be explosive. Literally, you cannot use just any rock. The single most important rule is to avoid rocks from rivers, creeks, or other wet environments. These rocks can have moisture trapped deep within microscopic fissures. When you heat them, that water turns into steam, building up immense pressure inside the rock until it explodes with the force of a small grenade, sending razor-sharp stone shrapnel across the room. There are well-documented cases of people being severely injured or killed by this. You must select dry, dense field stones. Inspect them for any pre-existing cracks or fissures, as these are weak points. The heating process must also be done safely, preferably in an outdoor fire pit, a wood-burning stove, or a barbecue grill. Heat the rocks until they are very hot to the touch, but not glowing red hot. Use heavy-duty leather gloves and metal tongs for handling. Never bring the hot rocks directly into your living space and place them on the floor. They will scorch wood, crack tile, and ignite carpeting. The proper procedure is to place the heated rocks inside a sturdy metal container like a steel bucket, a cast iron Dutch oven, or an ammo can. This container can then be placed in the center of a small room, where it will safely radiate heat. By creating a cycle of heating rocks outdoors while others are cooling indoors, you can establish a continuous, renewable heating system that relies on no modern fuel. Point 4. The deceptive candle heater myth. It's an image that has become a viral sensation in prepper and DIY circles. A small clay flower pot, inverted over a few tea light candles, supposedly creating a miraculous off-grid room heater. The idea looks ingenious and cozy, promising significant warmth for just a few cents. Here is the blunt, scientific truth that most of those videos conveniently omit. The terracotta pot heater is not a heater. It is a heat concentrator and radiator, and the amount of heat it works with is pathetically small. A single tea light candle generates approximately 30 watts of heat. 4 of them combined produce about 120 watts. For perspective, a standard small electric space heater produces 1,500 watts. Your body, at rest, produces around 100 watts. This device is not going to heat your room. It will not save you from hypothermia in a truly cold house. What the terracotta pot does is absorb the heat from the candles, which would otherwise quickly rise to the ceiling and dissipate, and radiate it horizontally. If you are huddled directly next to it, you will feel a small zone of gentle warmth. It can take the edge off and provide a psychological boost, but it is not a primary heating solution. Worse, its risks are consistently downplayed. You are still dealing with an open flame indoors. This presents a significant fire hazard, especially if it can be knocked over by a child, a pet, or a clumsy adult in the dark. The candles also consume oxygen and release carbon monoxide, CO, a colorless, odorless gas that is lethal in unventilated spaces. Never, under any circumstances, run a candle heater while you are sleeping or in a perfectly sealed room. You must crack a window to ensure a supply of fresh air, which ironically negates some of the minimal heat it produces. Furthermore, the terracotta pot itself becomes dangerously hot, capable of causing severe burns or igniting nearby flammable materials like curtains, blankets, or paper. The candle heater hack is not entirely useless. It's better than nothing. But thinking of it as anything more than an emergency hand warmer is a dangerous fantasy. Do not bet your family's safety on this overhyped and misunderstood gimmick. Point 5. The propane powerhouse, friend or foe. When the power is out and the temperature inside your home is dropping degree by agonizing degree, you need a heavy hitter. This is where indoor-rated propane heaters enter the conversation. Let's be perfectly clear. We are talking about a significant step up in heating capability. A unit like a Mr. Heater Buddy can generate between 4,000 and 9,000 BTUs of heat. That's not just wishful thinking. That is raw thermal output capable of taking a 200-plus square foot room from dangerously cold to genuinely livable. It can run for hours on a single 1-pound propane cylinder, the kind you use for camping. This is real tangible warmth that can make the difference between comfort and a desperate fight for survival. It's the kind of heat that allows you to function, not just shiver under a pile of blankets. However, this power comes with a non-negotiable pact of responsibility. Using a propane heater indoors without understanding the risks is tantamount to playing Russian roulette. The chemistry is simple and deadly. Burning propane consumes oxygen and produces carbon monoxide, CO. CO is an invisible, odorless killer. It bonds to the hemoglobin in your blood 200 times more effectively than oxygen, quietly suffocating you from the inside out. You won't smell it, you won't see it. You'll just get sleepy and never wake up. This is why you must only use a heater specifically rated for indoor use. These units are engineered with two critical life-saving features: an oxygen depletion sensor, ODS, that automatically shuts the heater off if the oxygen level in the room falls below a safe threshold, and a tip-over switch that immediately cuts the gas supply if the unit is knocked over. Using an outdoor propane heater, like a sunflower or patio heater, inside your home is a suicide mission. Don't even consider it. Even with a certified indoor model, ventilation is not optional. You must crack a window an inch or two to provide a steady supply of fresh air. Furthermore, you absolutely must have a battery-operated carbon monoxide detector in the same room. No detector, no heater. End of story. Storing the fuel also requires discipline. Propane cylinders should always be stored outdoors in a well-ventilated area, never in your basement or attached garage. A slow leak can cause heavy propane gas to pool at floor level, creating a massive explosion hazard waiting for a single spark. These heaters are potent survival tools, but they demand your respect of EDORTH. Point 6. The kerosene workhorse. Old-school reliability. For generations, long before prepping became a mainstream concept, the kerosene heater was the backbone of emergency heating in rural and off-grid homes. These things are unapologetically analog. They can be noisy, they have a distinct smell, and they require manual operation. But when a winter storm has knocked out the grid for days on end, a well-maintained kerosene heater is a bastion of reliability. They are thermal powerhouses, with many models capable of kicking out 10,000 to over 20,000 BTUs. That's enough heat to make a large living area or even a small home comfortable, not just survivable. They run for many hours on a gallon or two of fuel, providing a sustained defense against the encroaching cold. But this old-school reliability comes with old-school dangers. The safety of a kerosene heater is 100% dependent on the user's discipline, and mistakes are unforgiving. First and foremost is fuel quality. You must use only crystal-clear, 1K grade kerosene. Using red-dyed, cloudy, or contaminated fuel will cause the wick to burn improperly, producing thick black soot and dangerous levels of toxic fume. And let's be blunt. Never, under any circumstances, attempt to use gasoline as a substitute. The vapor pressure of gasoline is vastly different from kerosene. It will turn the heater into an incendiary bomb. The most common point of failure is refueling. This process is a fire hazard ritual that must be followed precisely. Always turn the heater off and allow it to cool down completely before you even think about refueling. Then take the unit outside to fill it. Spilling even a small amount of kerosene indoors on a flammable surface like a rug or wood floor creates a persistent fire risk that can be ignited later by a stray spark. Like any combustion heater, it devours oxygen and produces carbon monoxide. ventilation is mandatory. You must crack a window even when it's brutally cold outside. Running one of these overnight while you sleep is a gamble you should never take. A battery-powered CO detector is an absolute necessity. Kerosene fuel has a good shelf life and a 5-gallon container can see you through a prolonged outage. But this is not a device you can set and forget. It requires attention, maintenance, and an unwavering respect for the fire it contains. Point 7. The wood stove, the ultimate survival hearth. If your preparedness strategy includes writing out a long-term grid-down winter scenario, then all other heating methods are secondary. The undisputed king of off-grid heat is the wood-burning stove. This is not merely a heater, it is the heart of a self-sufficient homestead. It provides a powerful, radiant heat that warms your home to the bone. It can operate 24/7, turning a freezing house into a warm sanctuary. Beyond just heat, it becomes a multi-function survival appliance. You can boil water for sanitation, cook full meals on its flat-topped surface, and dry out wet clothing, which is critical for preventing hypothermia. The greatest advantage is the fuel. Wood is a renewable resource that, depending on your location, can be harvested for free. It is not dependent on fragile supply chains, gas stations, or refineries. A well-stocked woodpile is a tangible form of energy independence. However, owning a wood stove is not a casual hobby. It's a lifestyle that demands labor and expertise. The fantasy of tossing a log on the fire is a dangerous oversimplification. First, you need the right fuel. Burning green or unseasoned wood is inefficient and incredibly dangerous. It smolders, produces very little heat, and releases a tremendous amount of smoke and moisture. This vapor condenses inside your chimney as creosote, a black tar-like substance that is highly flammable. A thick buildup of creosote is the leading cause of chimney fires, which can burn your house down with terrifying speed. Your firewood must be seasoned, cut, split, and stacked to dry for a minimum of 6 months, and ideally for a full year. Second, installation is not a job for amateurs. An improperly installed stove with incorrect clearances from combustible walls, a poorly designed chimney system, or a faulty flue liner is one of the biggest fire risks you can introduce into your home. This job must be done by a certified professional who understands local building codes and fire safety regulations. Finally, maintenance is a constant chore. You will be cleaning out ash daily, regularly inspecting gaskets and fire bricks, and cleaning the chimney at least once a year. A wood stove is work, but the payoff is unparalleled security and peace of mind. While the rest of the world is dark and cold, the glow of a fire in a wood stove is a profound symbol of resilience and survival. In the world of survival heating, sometimes the most effective tools are the smallest and simplest. Enter the alcohol stove. Popularized by ultralight backpackers who obsess over every ounce, these tiny silent burners have become a staple for urban preppers and anyone building a compact bug-out bag. Their brilliance lies in their simplicity and the nature of their fuel. They are incredibly lightweight, often weighing less than a deck of cards, and can be built for pennies from 2 aluminum soda cans. The fuel they run on denatured alcohol or high-proof isopropyl alcohol, 91% or higher, is a prepper's dream. It is widely available at hardware stores and pharmacies, stores indefinitely without degrading, is not under high pressure and is less volatile than white gas or propane. Spills evaporate quickly and are less of a fire risk than kerosene or gasoline. But let's manage expectations. An alcohol stove is not a space heater. It will not warm a room. It is a personal-scale survival tool designed for critical, targeted heating tasks. Its primary functions are to boil water for safe drinking, prepare a hot meal like soup or instant noodles, or provide just enough warmth to keep your hands functional in a broken-down car or a small tent. The heat output is minimal but focused and efficient. The most significant safety considerations are its near-invisible flame and the risk of knockovers. In bright daylight, an alcohol flame can be almost impossible to see, creating a serious burn risk. Always treat the stove as if it is lit, if you have recently added fuel. While DIY can stoves are popular, commercially made versions often include features like a wider base for stability and a simmer ring to control the flame. Some designs, like a simple tin with alcohol-soaked cotton balls, are inherently safer because they contain the liquid fuel if tipped. An alcohol stove is the epitome of a Tier 2 or Tier 3 heating plan. It's not your primary solution for heating your home, but as a redundant, portable, and foolproof method for creating a small, essential flame, it's an invaluable asset. It's the pocket-sized tool that might just save your life when larger systems fail. The most powerful furnace in our solar system is 93 million miles away, and it provides an unbelievable amount of free energy every single day. I'm talking about the sun. Passive solar heating is the most overlooked yet most reliable survival heating strategy there is. It requires zero fuel, produces no fumes, makes no noise, and costs absolutely nothing. The concept is brutally simple. Your house is either gaining heat or losing it. There is no neutral. On a clear winter day, the sun bombards the earth with energy. Your job is to capture as much of it as possible and trap it inside your home. This means you need to start thinking of your windows not as panes of glass, but as one-way energy gates. The strategy begins at sunrise. Every single curtain, blind, and shutter on the south-facing side of your house must be thrown wide open. This is non-negotiable. South-facing windows receive the most direct sunlight throughout the day in the northern hemisphere. You want that light to pour in, unhindered. That sunlight carries thermal energy that will warm every surface it touches. Your floors, your walls, your furniture. Simultaneously, all windows on the north, east, and west sides of your house must be aggressively covered. These windows receive little to no direct sun in the winter and act as thermal vampires, sucking precious warmth out of your home. Use heavy blankets, towels, or even cardboard to insulate them. The real key to maximizing this free heat is thermal mass. Dense materials like concrete floors, brick walls, stone fireplaces, or even large containers of water are like thermal batteries. They absorb heat slowly throughout the day and then radiate it back into the room slowly throughout the night, long after the sun has set. You can amplify this effect by placing several large, dark-colored jugs of water directly in the path of the sunlight. They will soak up heat all day and act as silent, steady radiators when temperatures drop. This isn't just a quaint idea, it's a proven architectural principle used in off-grid homes in the harshest climates on Earth to drastically reduce their heating needs. You don't need to install anything. You just need to be disciplined. Open the south-facing blinds, cover the others, and let physics do the work. It's a silent, relentless, and free method to fight back against the cold. Point 10. The low-tech personal heat core. In a true survival situation, trying to heat an entire freezing house is often a losing battle. It's inefficient and consumes massive amounts of resources. The smarter strategy is to heat your body, not the room. And one of the most effective, safest, and time-tested tools for this is the humble hot water bottle. Don't dismiss this as some antiquated relic from your grandmother's era. From frigid Victorian manors to battlefield hospitals, this simple device has been a lifesaver for centuries, and its effectiveness is rooted in pure physics. Water has a very high specific heat capacity, meaning it can store a tremendous amount of thermal energy and release it slowly over a long period. A properly prepared hot water bottle can provide a steady, comforting warmth for 4 to 6 hours, making it a perfect tool for surviving a dangerously cold night. The process is simple, but precision matters. You need hot water, but not boiling water. Water taken directly from a rolling boil can degrade the rubber or silicone of the bottle, making it prone to leaks or bursting, which can cause severe burns. The correct procedure is to bring the water to a boil to ensure it's hot enough, then remove it from the heat and let it cool for 2 or 3 minutes. Fill the bottle only about 2/3 of the way full. Overfilling it creates unnecessary pressure. Before sealing the cap, gently squeeze the bottle to purge any excess air. Trapped air can also increase internal pressure as it heats and expands. The final and most important safety step is to never place the bottle in direct contact with your skin. Always wrap it in a towel, place it in a purpose-made fabric cover, or put it under a layer of blankets. Prolonged contact, even with moderately hot surfaces, can cause serious low-temperature burns. The beauty of this method lies in its targeted efficiency. Placed at the foot of your sleeping bag or bed 15 minutes before you get in, it creates a pocket of warmth that can make sleep possible. Tucked inside your jacket, it helps maintain your core body temperature. It is silent, produces zero fumes, is infinitely reusable, and costs next to nothing. In a grid-down world, this low-tech solution provides a powerful personal-scale heating system that can be the difference between a night of shivering misery and restorative, life-sustaining sleep. That decorative gas fireplace in your living room might be more than just a cozy amenity. It could be a critical piece of your survival plan, but only if you know exactly what you have. When the power grid fails, the distinction between a functioning heater and an expensive piece of useless furniture comes down to one component: the ignition system. Most gas fireplaces fall into one of two categories. If your fireplace has what's called a standing pilot, a small constant blue flame that is always on, even when the main burner is off, you are likely in luck. These systems often use a thermopile or thermocouple. This is a brilliant little device that uses the heat from the pilot light to generate a tiny amount of electricity, just enough to operate the gas valve. This means it is completely independent of the power grid. During a blackout, you can typically turn on the main flame with a manual switch or knob on the unit itself. No external power is required. However, if your fireplace comes to life with the push of a remote control or a wall switch and has no visible pilot light when it's off, you likely have an electronic ignition system. These systems rely on household electricity to create a spark and open the gas valve. When the power goes out, they are dead in the water, unless the manufacturer included a battery backup system. This is something you must investigate before a crisis hits. Get on your hands and knees and inspect the area around the controls of your fireplace. Look for a small compartment designed to hold batteries, typically A or D cells. If you find one, your problem is solved. Stockpile fresh, high-quality batteries specifically for this purpose and test the system periodically to ensure it works. Even if the fireplace's blower fan won't operate without grid power, and it won't, the unit will still produce a significant amount of radiant and convective heat from the flames themselves. This is more than enough to keep a single well-insulated room significantly warmer than the rest of the house. In a prolonged outage, this one warm room can become your family's command center for sleeping, eating, and staying safe. Do not wait for an emergency to learn how your system works. A deadly assumption is that it will just work. Find your owner's manual. Identify your ignition type and test it now. Point 12. The modern flame bioethanol burners. For those living in apartments, condos, or rentals where installing a wood stove or storing large amounts of propane is illegal or impossible, a new option has emerged as a viable supplemental heat source: the bioethanol fireplace. These sleek, modern units have become popular because they offer a real open flame without the need for a chimney, flue, or permanent installation. They are ventless, portable, and burn a clean, renewable fuel derived from plants like corn or sugarcane. The fuel bioethanol burns with no smoke, soot, or odor, making it suitable for indoor use. The heat output is generally modest, ranging from 2,000 to 5,000 BTUs, which is not enough to heat a whole house, but is certainly capable of taking the sharp, dangerous chill out of a single room during a blackout. However, the term ventless can be dangerously misleading. Ventless does not mean it doesn't affect the air. Any combustion process, no matter how clean, consumes oxygen and releases carbon dioxide. In a small, tightly sealed modern apartment, running a bioethanol fireplace for an extended period can deplete oxygen to unsafe levels, leading to headaches, dizziness, and asphyxiation. These units must only be operated in a well-ventilated area. Cracking a window is not just a suggestion, it's a critical safety requirement. The single greatest danger associated with these devices is refueling. Bioethanol is extremely flammable, and its flame can be nearly invisible in bright light. Attempting to add fuel to a burner that is still hot, even if the flame appears to be out, can result in a violent flash fire or flashback. The rule is absolute and non-negotiable. You must allow the burner to cool down completely for at least 20 to 30 minutes before you even think about refueling. Only use fuel specifically approved by the manufacturer. Never experiment with rubbing alcohol, gasoline, or any other flammable liquid. The fuel itself stores safely indoors in sealed containers and has a long shelf life. For the urban prepper, a bioethanol fireplace represents a rare opportunity to have a real supplemental flame-based heat source that is both legal and effective. It's a morale booster and a legitimate tool for taking the edge off the cold, provided you treat it with the respect it demands. Point 13. Pocket furnaces. Chemical heat packs. When you're facing extreme cold, sometimes the most impactful solutions are the smallest. Chemical heat packs are a perfect example. These unassuming little packets are essentially single-use, portable furnaces that you can hold in your hand. They are a staple in emergency kits, bug-out bags, and the pockets of anyone who works outdoors in the winter, and for good reason. They are cheap, lightweight, and incredibly effective at delivering targeted heat exactly where you need it most. Most common heat packs operate on a simple, brilliant chemical reaction called oxidation. Inside the pouch is a mixture of iron powder, salt, activated charcoal, and an absorbent material. When you tear open the outer wrapper and expose the inner pouch to air, oxygen triggers a rapid rusting of the iron powder. This exothermic reaction releases a steady stream of heat, with many packs reaching temperatures of 30 Ft or more and lasting for 6 to 10 hours. This is flameless, fumeless, silent heat that you can slip into your gloves to keep your fingers from going numb, into your boots to prevent frostbite, or into a pocket close to your core to help maintain your body temperature. In a prolonged blackout, you can tuck them into your sleeping bag to create a warm microclimate for sleeping. For those looking for a more sustainable option, reusable packs are also available. These typically contain a supersaturated solution of sodium acetate. Clicking a small metal disc inside initiates a crystallization process that releases heat. To recharge the pack, you simply boil it in water until the crystals dissolve back into a liquid state. While their heat doesn't last as long as single-use packs, their reusability makes them ideal for training and less critical situations. The primary safety concern with any heat pack is direct skin contact. The more powerful ones get hot enough to cause low-temperature burns if left against bare skin for too long. Always have a layer of fabric like a sock or glove as a buffer. At a cost of often less than $1 per unit for single-use packs, their value in an emergency is immense. Stockpiling them is one of the most cost-effective ways to add a powerful layer of redundancy to your winter preparedness plan.